Party's not a party's a man who fights crime, and we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time with John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minutes!
Hello everyone, welcome once again to Bat Minutes of the Phantasm. This is the podcast where all those minutes will be lost in time, like tears in the rain.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh.
Like tears in the rain. Because there's like some lyricists got pretty lazy towards the end. If I never even told you, let me tell you. But I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
I am your other host, John Parker, coming to you today in glorious Dolby Stereo.
Hey.
I can't back that up, actually, because, spoiler alert, people, we actually released these in mono, I believe.
Yeah. I found out apparently there is a guy, and I won't name names in case he listens to the show, but I've heard from listener Jeff, Jeff Hamill, who listens to all the shows. Apparently there's a podcast on the go at the minute that has the guy who makes it puts the voices like on different channels. So when you're listening with the headphones on, one voice is coming out into one ear and the other voice is coming into the other ear.
Yes.
And it's really, really, really distracting. And it sounds like he brought this up in a group chat and people were like, oh, that would be an instant unsubscribe. You can't do that. Like,
I hate it. It sounds good on paper, but in practice, it's not.
But anyway, the film is not much worse at all. Although, again, the song's not great. These credits,
I'm into it now, right? I like it. It doesn't go with the movie, but if it came on the radio, not that anyone listens to the radio in this day and age, I wouldn't turn it off.
I think, again, too, because I've been rewatching so much of the old show, I do feel a little pained that like it doesn't have like a little. And to be fair, none of the films we've covered they all end in spin-off singles, over the end credits. But like looking at the original BTAS ending, kind of classic things like image of Batman with the cape up and he's all in shadow and there's a red kind of light behind him and stuff.
Yeah,
and just that end music that's like 20 seconds long that Shirley Walker composed is just like it's like a masterpiece of just like. This is just, we have to like just do, here's an entire symphony in 20 seconds where it just goes through so much. And like, you go through there's a big climax in the center and then, it comes, it crashes back down and then it lifts itself, like it really gets you just so pumped. The show's over, but you're like, I'm so excited. I watched that.
I'm excited for the next one.
Yeah. It's just so like it's literally it goes up, it goes down, it goes left, it goes right. It's an entire thing in 20 seconds. Like it's so good, and then to be like, no, Shirley's work's done, and now it's over to this. You're like,
why don't they at the very least? What I would do, because my opinions are very valid in Hollywood. What I would have done is, if you want this single, cool, but slap what you're saying on at the end. Just stick it on as the final thing that you remember from this movie.
Yeah. They didn't do the right thing, No. The public enemy over the end credits, and then they had a little bit of somber mood music from the original score at the end. But
there you go. It always works. Always. And it would have tied into the animated series.
Although maybe they're like, we don't want people amped up after the film. Although again, at the same time, it is a very somber film at the end anyway. So like maybe they're like, you don't want to get people too excited. But
at the same time, it's, as we talked about, it's a bit of a bittersweet ending where it's like, okay, it's really sad for Bruce, but it's good for the Bat. If you know what I mean, like he's reinvigorated as a figure, isn't he?
What you're saying is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Everyone knows that famous phrase. What's good for the Bruce ain't good for the Bat.
That's the new one now. We're working at it. But also, anyway, specifically, we're here to talk about minute 76, which opens with some productions getting assisted. And it ends a minute later with, I don't know, because it's just all credits.
Dolby Stereo, baby.
Dolby Stereo. Doubly. Yeah, it's good. We have to go in doubly.
Doubly.
Yeah, we're getting some Pacific titles as well. Specific Pacific titles.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the last, because basically now we're in we are in the death rattle of the movie. There's a couple of things I didn't bring up throughout the season that I meant to. To quote the dude, like, new shit has come to light, man.
Whoa.
A couple of things I found out after the minutes came up, and I thought, like, oh, should have mentioned that at the time. Little minor things, like one. You recall way back when the Joker enters Arthur Reeves' office?
Yeah.
And it does that, tisk, and to think our tax money goes to pay those jokes. And it does that weird kind of like zoom into him, but it's not, it's like a kind of very jarringly cut zoom into the Joker's face. That is a direct reference. And I'm stunned I didn't get it at the time because I love the original film so much. That's a direct reference to the first appearance of Boris Karloff in Frankenstein.
Oh, whoa. What?
When he comes in, you obviously have the "it's alive" scene, but you don't see the monster then.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite bits.
And there's a bit then when he's like, oh, here he comes. Like they're like, oh, here comes the monster, and it's Boris Karloff walking in through a door, and the camera does the same. It's, it kind of zooms in, but then very like it's not zooming. It's like cut. So it's like individual edits zooming into his face progressively, and then right up to his like. That's a great shot in the original Frankenstein.
It's
awesome.
Such
weird dead eyes and stuff he's got. But,
well, I'm going to sound like I'm just being a controversial person here, but I think the first Frankenstein's better than Bride.
I think they're about as good. They're about as good as each other, really.
I do love Bride as well, but if I'm picking one, I'm watching that first one.
I do have that massive thing for Elsa Lancaster. So if she's in it, it's like, well, that gives a little boost to the movie. It's like, well, I'll do a thing for her. So.
I like that. Yeah.
And then that ties way back into one of the first times we saw. But we didn't even see Jack Nicholson's Joker, because I remember way back when we were doing 89. One of the first weeks we had the first week we had Dale Kingsman on, as I recall.
Yes.
When he's doing the mirror, and when he's like guffawing and like stumbling up the stairs to get out of the plastic surgeons. The notes we had at that point from Tim Burton, like quotes that he was saying, was that we wanted the scene like he's walking like Frankenstein's monster, like Karloff in the original Frankenstein, because I wanted to invoke like this is now the birth of a monster and stuff. So it was just weird that they have two little Frankenstein. I think these guys probably just did it as like that's a cool shot. We just want to emulate it, and he is our. Although it's the weird thing because Frankenstein's monsters, particularly Karloff's version, isn't what you would call a villain, even though. No. That's kind of like he's like, scary monster guy. Like, no, but he's like the most sympathetic character in the whole film. So.
Yeah, he's never supposed to really be the villain. In like the original story, he's not. The original story is even more of a good guy than Karloff. Yeah. But Karloff still has that essence there. It's not until you get to, is it the third one or the fourth one? It's the third or fourth. Karloff's gone by this point. I think it might be the fourth one where Bela Lugosi...
Karl is off. I'll tell you, he is out of there, baby.
I'm sure it's the fourth one where Bela Lugosi takes over, right? And it doesn't work. It's like, I love you, Bela, but you are not right for this part. That doesn't make a lick of sense to me.
I think maybe in the original text of Frankenstein, where he's a much more verbose, sort of like talky guy, like when he's hiding in that shed. Yeah. Learning to talk from that family, and then he comes back and he's very eloquent and stuff. Bela Lugosi, I could imagine pulling off a version of that. To be fair, like
absolutely, but that's not what he's doing.
No,
which might not be his fault, because I imagine he just does what he's told.
Oh, back then too, like he was the rise and fall of Bela Lugosi is so shockingly like brief. Like it came from nothing. Superstar within like 2 years. Oh, he's back in the gutter again. So.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? It's sad because he was so big.
Yeah.
And while we're talking, actually, I've looked it up. It is the fourth one. It's The Ghost of Frankenstein. I have all these on DVD because I'm an idiot. Oh, no, hang on. Yeah, I've got it wrong. He does play the monster.
Space dust on here.
Yeah, no, it's confusing. He does play the monster later on, but in this, he's Igor.
Oh, yeah.
It's Lon Chaney Jr. who's the monster in this one. Okay. Yes.
I think it was he was the original Igor, wasn't he, Bela Lugosi? Because he's called Fritz.
Yes, he's not called Igor in the others. Yeah. He's Igor in this one. There's that many of these. You mix them all up in your head. I'm sure there's some horror nerd who can remember them, but my memory's bad at the best of times, and I've got about 1,000 Frankenstein films.
Of the guy who co-wrote our theme tune, Ash. He would know this off the top of his head, But
I think he might. But even he might struggle. There's that many. No one's going to know every Dracula.
Yeah.
You can't do it unless you've got a photographic memory. But
yeah.
So hang on, who played the monster in the third? Wait, hang on, is that what I'm thinking of? You can edit it out.
Karloff's in for because then Son of Frankenstein. I think that's still Karloff.
Son is the third one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bella's
that's
in
the
that
one.
as well.
That's the one that's actually pretty good, but no one talks about because it's it's the Batman Forever of the Frankenstein saga.
I didn't mind that one. That one's okay. Who's Bella playing in this? Is it Igor again?
You should find out, he's playing Frankenstein's wife in this one. He's like, Bella just went from role to role, really. He's like, who do you need me to play this one?
Why not? There is another one after that. I'm sure that, in the main, obviously there's a billion in between, but I'm talking about in the proper, because what's Abbott and Costello comes, is that?
Some will consider that part of the canon as well.
Yeah, people do. Dracula is Bela Lugosi, of course it is. Oh, there's that many. I'll spend all day looking at these, but I can't remember the point. The point
is, I forget that. Marge, you know the guy I'm talking about. He used to play that blue car. So anyway, that shot of the Joker was a reference to the James Whale's Frankenstein. Another thing, just want to brought up because we won't get to talk about him in the future, is that we mentioned way back that Stacy Keach played the dad in a sitcom called Titus that I'd never heard of. And we got a lot of feedback about that. People were like, oh no, Titus was great. And I've looked up on YouTube since clips from it to kind of get a feel. And I have to say that the first clip I watched, within 5 seconds, it had me laughing. So there was a whole thing about the guy, the Titus, the main guy, is saying oh yeah, we don't have any photos of my dad. He's doing a piece to camera thing. Saying we never had any pictures of them without a can of beer. And there was just a series of photos of Stacy Keach water skiing with a can of beer in his hand. And then he's at a funeral over the casket with a can of beer in his hand, leaning in, talking to the corpse.
Oh my god, they should just do the most outlandish scenarios. Yeah,
I was just he's at a PTA meeting with his arm around the teacher and a can of beer and all this kind of stuff. I was oh no, this does seem like it would have been funny, but I'm not going to track down all of Titus and watch all of it now. But
no, we're going to do it. It's a bonus. It's a bonus for doing it. Also, I've randomly remembered the Bela Lugosi Frankenstein.
Oh,
Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
Oh,
that's the one, because he originally played the Wolfman.
It's gonna be now though. It's do you want two Bellas? Because back in the day, he would be I'll play both. I'll play both parts. I need the money, damn it.
I can't. I don't think he's playing both. I think he's just the monster, and the monster's absolutely awful.
Yeah. So no, I remember they did the You Must Remember This, the whole series about Bella and Boris's careers. I know at that stage, Bella was getting paid nothing. They really shafted him on pay. They were ridiculous. How little they were paying him for those movies, because he just was they didn't know any better back then. He didn't have any legal recourse to hit back at them, and he needed the work. So it's just we'll pay you $20 to be Dracula again. It's just okay. But no, the other thing I wanted to bring up was there's a correction just for just the last minute.
What?
Because we were delving into the career of Tira Carrera, and I said that because I've read a general biography of her, and they're the first movie was this Miami, spring break crap thing.
Miami Connection, yes.
Or Hawaiian spring break, or whatever it was. Just some old 80s sex comedy, basically. Mm-hmm. Found out, no, her first movie was in 1987. And it was a thing called Zombie Nightmare.
Amazing.
And it's very notable because it co-stars Adam West.
Whoa, everything's connected. Holy crap.
Yeah,
okay, that was a real surprise to me, listeners. It really was.
Yeah, Adam West ostensibly the main character. And he's... It's weird to look because it would have been after Night of the Creeps, which has Tom Atkins, obviously, from Halloween 3, et cetera, as the cop up against the zombies. And... we noted that Tom Atkins in Night of the Creeps is specifically what they based Jim Gordon on in the animated series. Like, he's supposed to look like that guy.
Yeah.
And it looks like Adam West, he's in there, he's got the coat, he's got the mustache. It looks as if they're trying to make him look like Tom Atkins in Night of the Creeps. So it's, yeah, but basically the plot line is baseball player William Washington is fatally stabbed defending a young girl from two teenagers. Years later, William's son Tony also becomes a baseball player. After Tony disrupts a robbery at a grocery store, he is struck and killed by a car full of teenagers. The teens flee the scene, and Tony's body is carried to his home where his mother Louise mourns over him. She contacts Molly McKimmy, the girl who William saved, to repay the favor of a rescue, now revealed to be a Haitian voodoo priestess.
Hey!
Molly resurrects Tony as a zombie, and he uses his powers to guide him to the teenagers, aiding him in his revenge. It's notably, you can get it all now on YouTube, of course. Because, again, copyright, no one gives a crap about it. But you can also get it on YouTube in Mystery Science Theater 3000 form.
Oh, excellent.
That entire episode is up there. Looked into their coverage of it, because apparently it was like one of the big ones they did in 94. And apparently the cast and crew of Mystery Science Theater said they unequivocally hated the film. Oh. So that probably just means it's a good episode. Quite
yeah,
frankly.
I think that would possibly make them better. Yeah.
So,
Rather than when they enjoy the movie, I don't think they'll be as funny.
And I flipped to the end because I wanted to see what happened to Adam West. And yeah, there's a bit where he's about to shoot a guy. And then a zombie just pops up behind him and like literally drags him into the grave, like as if there's like an underworld under there. Like he's going to the other guy, like kill me before they take me and stuff like. So as if he's going to be literally dragged into hell alive, which will be worse, I guess.
Amazing! This sounds like a great experience.
I mean, it's it's a short a short hour and 25 minutes. It's on YouTube. So it's we are in the middle of Halloween season now, so
and we're going to do it minute by minute. Yeah.
And the other big thing I wanted to bring up is that because I was putting it off for a long time, John.
Oh God, you're ending the show.
No, not quite. Next episode. No. But okay, so we talked about there was sequel appearances of the Phantasm in comics.
Yeah,
and they weren't so great. But the one big one I didn't bring up because I hadn't read it in its entirety, and I now have. And it, of course, big thing that got headlines quite recently. Tom King,
yes,
the contentious previous Batman comic runner.
Yeah, I wasn't too into what he was doing myself.
Not many people were, because Tom King took over from the beloved Scott Snyder. And he said he came in with a big swinging dick going, oh, we're going to run for 100 issues. And then I got cut off at 85 because people were just fed up with it.
Yeah, I found it quite... I mean, I didn't read all of them. I gave up, actually. Mostly that was financial, though, when I had to sell my house and things. So we weren't going to go there. But I found they were a bit boring. Not a lot would happen. Like, you'd read an entire issue and just be like, one thing occurred in this entire book. Yeah,
a lot of pensive, like not even sad, but it was just drab Bruce.
Yeah.
Just Bruce hanging around and him and Catwoman draped over him.
And it was that, wasn't it? I'm just trying to make sure I got this right, because I was concurrently reading 4 Batman comics at the time. It's that had all the stuff with his dad, right?
Yeah.
No,
and then Bane took over the city, et cetera. But he did get to complete his run. It was the whole big thing about Batman and Catwoman getting married. That was the big thing of like, in issue 50 or whatever, we're going to get them married, and then it didn't happen. So he was granted, an allowance to finish off his story arc with a 12-issue miniseries called Batman Catwoman.
Okay, well, I approve of that, right? Because even if someone's not great, you've got to finish off the story for people. You can't just end it. Netflix.
That was the thing I meant to bring up, actually, about Zombie Nightmare from 87, because it co-stars, obviously, Tia Carrere, Adam West, and Sean Levy, who was like, went on to direct he directed like Cheaper by the Dozen and Just Married and like the Night of the Museum movies. Also, like one of the main producers on Stranger Things, Sean Levy. So
I forgot about that. There you go. Everything is connected again.
Yeah. But yeah. So I went and I read the Bat Cat. It's the one that they keep calling each other Bat cat. They keep doing that. I hated it so much.
No, not into it.
Yeah, so it's one of these things too. It's such a convoluted. It's 12 issues, so convoluted. There's like three separate timelines going on. Where there's one way in the future where Batman has died, not of anything exciting. He just died. Selina, then they are married at that point. They have a daughter. She goes and kills the Joker, and just tracks him down. He's an old man at a retirement home, and she just like comes in, rips his throat out or whatever.
I thought it would be cooler if she went to do it. Is this too cheesy though? Right? If she went to do it, saw how he was, and just left. Like, this is worse for you.
No, the thing is, he's still in his element. He's still giggling and stuff.
See, I want to see him like broken down and like he's in a retirement home and he can't really do anything. So she's like, well, this is a worse fate. That would be how I'd do it, but at the same time, that's been done before.
Yeah. And that whole future arc is all like their daughter Helena is Batwoman, Dick Grayson's commissioner, and it's all about the kind of like, should we arrest my mother for killing the Joker? Because I guess that's wrong. And so, then there's a plotline set way in the past when Batman and Catwoman are first kind of getting together. And then there's all the stuff with the Phantasm. Andrea Beaumont reappears. Because she starts slicing and dicing her way through Joker's cronies up to try to get again to the Joker. And it's revealed that her son, Andrew, which is like, apparently she had a son called Andrew. Don't know why he wasn't called Carl. That seemed like that would have been a natural. She's so into her dad. Why wouldn't she name her son after him? You know.
It makes sense for the character, but I always find it creepy when people do that.
But typically, everything about her is inherently creepy. She's way too close to her dad. You know?
Yeah. It's not a healthy relationship.
But yeah, Andrew. It turns out he had read love letters that from way back in the day, when Bruce and Andrea were first together. He found, Andrea's living a normal life. He found these love letters that indicated that that his dad was in fact Bruce Wayne. So he's like, I'm going to Gotham to track this guy down.
Because I could be a billionaire.
Yeah. I don't think it's so much as gaining a father as gaining a trust fund.
Well, that's basically what happened with, as I always bring up wrestling, with Vince McMahon. Like, he had a stepdad. He'd not met his real dad until he was... like a teenager or something. And then all of a sudden he meets his biological dad and he's just like, oh, this guy's amazing. He's a rich wrestling promoter. I want to be like him. It's like, oh, God. So he just randomly decides, yeah, you know what? I'm going to change my name to my biological dad's name now and hang out with him. What?
Sus. Is that how it is? But yeah, so Andrew goes to Gotham. She winds up dead, poisoned by Joker toxin. Seemingly at random happenstance as well. So it's like, well, you go to Gotham, something's going to happen to you.
Wait, and she actually dies?
Yeah, and then that spurs on the Phantasm going around. I'm going to go kill all Joker's men. I'm going to go get to him and end this once and for all.
And it's the kid?
No.
I thought there was going to be a twist. Okay.
No. It's it's a whole big thing then about Batman, Catwoman, and now the old love of Bruce's life is back in the fray. There's a bit where Batman captures the Joker, then Phantasm captures Catwoman in order to have a little trade off, and then the Joker and Phantasm come to a weird truce where he's like, I have to show you something, and he takes her out to a random family. Okay. And he reveals, and again, this is all told very disjointed, out of order, so you have to kind of piece together what's happening, basically. So it's revealed then that Andrea was, and this is a weird, there was so many weird misrememberings of what happened to Mask of the Phantasm. Maybe they could go, it's not a direct continuity, it's just inspired by or whatever. Because at one point, Selina's talking to her in her hideout, and she's got Hazel the robot there. And you're like, but the world of tomorrow blew up. Hazel's gone, man.
Hey, if the Death Star can somehow be, relatively intact.
Yeah, but also just but Andrea didn't hang around the world. That was the Joker's hideout.
Yep.
She didn't know who Hazel the robot is. I guess she does because it attacked her. But
well, yeah, but why would that's just strange. That feels like they got a note or something from DC going, now you need more references.
Yeah. Fan service is what they call it.
Okay, fine, we'll throw some in.
I remember that from the movie, yeah. But yeah, so that was revealed that And again, this is a misremembering from what happened at the end of Mask of the Phantasm, where Andrea is describing what happens to Bruce, and she's like, oh yeah, we were both like lost in the fire, and I was just ready to die. And then I heard the Joker's laugh in the distance, and I was like, no, I must track him down and find him. And I'm like, that's not what happened.
That's not, we just literally went over that.
Yeah, so it's like, no, she had the Joker in her clutches, and she vanished away from the fire because she's like, I'm going to go kill this guy right now. Also, the thing we didn't bring up in that episode, too, that I do want to mention is that, of course, that's a very chilling, very, really kind of striking image of like the Joker laughing as Andrea disappears with him into the plume of smoke. And the comic adaptation they got of Mask of the Phantasm, which we barely brought up because there's not really that much worth mentioning in it.
No.
That is a notable difference in that shot has the Joker like looking terrified and reaching back to Batman to like save me. And it's kind of a bit of a difference of like, I don't know if they were like, it'd be too scary for kids if like, is the Joker just like laughing in the face of death? It's too messed up. We better have it look as if like, no, he wants to be saved and stuff.
Like, I like it, but if you are trying to make it a bit more all ages, I could see that, yeah, because it's not that it's violent, it's more that it's like disturbing. A kid wouldn't understand really like what's going on there.
Although, again, maybe it'd be more chilling to be like, no, he wants to live, and yet he is about to die. That's even worse. But no, so then what happens is, in this story, it's like back to the Tom King of it all. Andrea then reveals that, yes, I survived, and then I went, and I was like, I'm going to track down this asshole. And for, a couple of years later, I was going through everyone, trying to find where the Joker was. And then I found him in an old log cabin outside of Gotham in the middle of winter. The whole story is set over Christmas. Like every timeline is around Christmas time for some reason. She goes to visit him at Christmas, and the Joker has a baby with him. And he's just like, hey, I've got a kid. And she's like, oh, wow. I can't let this kid be raised by the Joker. I guess this is the Joker's kid that he just has somehow.
Oh, okay.
And so she decides like, no, she attacks the Joker, and then she's like, I'm taking this baby and I'm raising him by myself.
Oh.
And this was Andrew. And so she's like, yeah, he raised him as my own son, and we're very happy, and now he's dead. And then the thing the Joker was showing her then back in the other time, I'm sure people will be going, this is very convoluted. It is. It's very convoluted. Then back in the quote-unquote present timeline, the Joker has taken Phantasm to show her something, and he just takes her to like a random house. And he's like, yeah, this is where I stole that baby from, by the way. Like, that wasn't my kid. That was like, I just stole a baby from a family because I thought it'd be...
What?
This is the Joker. He's like, I thought that would be funny to steal a baby from a family.
That is pretty funny.
And so then this whole big confrontation, Batman shows up, Joker tries to kill Phantasm, and then the aftermath, like, Phantasm, Catwoman, and Batman are all on the rooftop, and Andrea is distraught because, she's all about family ties.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, unbeknownst to me, I robbed a child of his life with his family. Like, Andrew, you could still be alive today, living a happy life with those people, but I raised them, even though I didn't. Again, she didn't know, so it's like...
Well, that's the thing. She was doing what was right with the information she had, right?
You know what, though? They never even told her, John. Tia Carrera would say they never even told her. And she, because of this, she's like, no, my high morals about this, I can't take this. And she just goes like, Andrea Beaumont, your angel of death awaits, and slits her own throat with the scythe. And then that's her dead.
No. That doesn't fit this character we've just spent all this time
100%, that's it, John. She's dead. Or is she? Because at the end of the whole thing, you have old lady Selina goes then to like a beach after she's gotten away with killing the Joker.
Can I guess something? Does she see someone at the beach with a scar around her neck?
Not only more than that, she's just hanging out with Andrea on the beach. And the whole thing was all a fake. It was all a scheme they cooked up together once she captured Catwoman at that point. And it turns out like, Andrea's just living her best life. And that was Clayface, apparently. Clayface owed Catwoman a favor, so Clayface, kind of you just call it whenever you need anything done, like, hey, Clayface, come and pretend to be dead for me. And Batman didn't question any, like, slit open her throat. Wouldn't Clayface bleed? Was he bleeding all over the floor? Does he have packs of fake blood in there to do that?
Fake blood. I just bought some as of recording for Halloween. I got the recommendation from Ash, our friend and former guest. I was like, Ash, I need fake blood. What's the best ones? And he's like, well, leave that to me. I can tell you about fake blood.
And all the names of the various roles that Bela Lugosi played in
Probably, yeah.
But that was always, I guess, Clayface would have to do. I was like, okay, so I guess I'm packing in fake blood into my clay body.
Squibs.
So I can then squeeze it and make it spurt out when I want to and stuff. But
yeah, that's what she said.
This was the official entry of Andrea Beaumont into DC comic continuity.
And
I went through all that, and I was like, that was terrible.
Well, thank you for doing that for me and the listeners. You've saved us a lot of pain.
There's a couple of nice little touches. Like there's they actually do get the whole thing ends with Batman and Catwoman's wedding. You finally get to see it, and they go to like a very cheesy Las Vegas style sort of like been wed by Elvis kind of thing. But they go and it's a guy who will dress up as Batman for you, and he comes out dressed as Adam West basically. And there's a little nice little bit where like Selina's like, no, we need to have witnesses. Like we have to do this all officially. And so Batman goes out and he's like, oh, okay. And he just kind of says into like the wind, like, Clark, me and Selina are getting married. If you want to come, that'd be nice. And then Superman just instantly appears, like, yes, I'm here. Yeah, we'll do it. And him with Lois in tow, and they're just like, yeah, we'll watch your wedding, Bruce. It was great. And like little things like that are like nice, where you just see how much of a dork Clark Kent is, and like Bruce really loves him, but he's just like, oh my god, I can't stand this guy.
I love that.
So all that's little elements like that are nice, like because there's flashbacks to Selina and Bruce's life together, and one Halloween she made him dress up as Superman, all this kind of stuff. Little touches like that, okay, like this is making it bearable, but overall it's not good. And that whole thing, like we're bringing back the Phantasm for that. For what? What
was the point?
All that was just like, at the time they're like, buy this book, it's got the Phantasm in it, and they're like, oh, yeah, you're disappointed? Too bad you bought it. But yeah, that is the only other. Well, there are a couple other little mentions of the Phantasm throughout comic continuity. I'm saving one for next minute. Very specifically.
Okay, do it. Yeah, save it, because next minute is a bit lean.
Next minute is lean old minute in the Bat Minute house, I guess.
I was glad you brought that stuff up, because I mostly just did what I usually do in the credits. Look up a few roles of people and things. What else they've worked on. And as I am the resident weeb, I decided to look up the digital animator here, Hiroki Itokazu.
Oh.
Just because I was like, cool, Japanese guy. And he did work on some interesting...
A Japanese guy working on animation.
I know, it's unheard of, right? Very outside of their wheelhouse. He has worked on some interesting projects, not what you would maybe think. But according to IMDb, right, not many. So it listed literally a tiny amount. It said this, of course: Iron Giant, Bolt, Mars Attacks,
oh baby,
Mission to Mars,
hey. Another Val Kilmer, everything's connected.
Yeah, everything is. A Little Princess.
Oh, not the Little Princess,
no.
A Little Princess.
A Little Princess. Belle.
You don't have the official copyright over the Little Princess. Just.
And then Belle, the Dragon and the Freckled Princess. So another princess theme thing. And finally, Glago's Guest. Right, so I was like, well, that's not really much, is it? I went on the hunt. Yeah? I went on a little deep dive. I found his resume.
Oh.
A copy of his resume. And IMDb is wrong. Or he's a liar. I think IMDb might be wrong, because there is.
I'm going to say, like, he's actually the manager of a paper company. I think I might be the wrong guy, John.
No, it's the right guy.
I went on his LinkedIn, and he's worked at Tesco for the last 15 years.
He lives in Liverpool. No, he also, according to his resume, which I believe is going to be a lot more accurate, let's be honest, he has also worked on Big Hero 6.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Wreck-It Ralph. Pearl Harbor. Eraser.
Oh, go Arnie.
Yeah. Well, get this. This wasn't on his IMDb. He worked on Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Wow.
Why are they not on IMDb?
It's not he's doing, like, this is digital animation he's doing on this.
Yeah. That's basically, that's most of what he does and things like that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of what little bits of, like, digital animation that would have been in
It'll
guess
be
it
like
could be
visual
like-
effects and stuff, basically.
Yeah, it could be like
right?
literally like the green electric coming out of the box or something could have been him, that kind of thing. So
But like, that's insane to not put that. I couldn't. I was very happy I found it. Here you go. This is what he did. I've actually got it up now. So he has listed on his resume Batman and Robin, Warner Digital, technical director, lead modeler, lighter.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite important.
Yeah.
And then Batman Forever, modeler, just on that one. So he went up in the world from Forever to Batman and Robin. He got like a promotion.
Yeah. It's
Lead modeler and technical director. That sounds really like... I've even got his email address here if you want it. It's on his resume. It's also got his phone number.
So let's get him on the line right now.
He studied at the University of Ryukyus in Okinawa, and then he went over to California and studied there.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, he's got a bachelor's in art, and also in production design. He's got 2 degrees.
Not too shabby. Not
bad at all. But I thought that was just a random pick because I liked his name, and then it turned out he's got this Batman pedigree. It's not just this movie. Oh, and he also worked on like Lois and Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's loads of things that aren't on his IMDb, and I'm just like, is it one of those that he keeps updated and he just can't be bothered?
Yeah, because he's just getting work all the time. So it's like, people know who I am. Like, what do we call her? Like, that lady who always does, we call it Grey Delisle. Like, she's just in every animated thing ever. She's just always one of the lead voices. She was like Daphne and Scooby-Doo. I get the vibe, but she's just like, if there's an animated show happening, she just walks in the studio like, yeah, who am I playing in this one? Like, I just literally every single thing she's in. So it could be like, I don't need to update. Like, people know who I am. They'll just come knocking when they need something.
I think that's the thing. Let's be honest. A lot of people go on IMDb for actors.
Yes.
It's only weirdos like us who go on for crew, really. Unless people in the industry do for crew, I don't know. I imagine you get gigs as a crew member in a different way, though.
It would be IMDb Pro. But again, that feels like that's very like, I'll be all actors.
That's
I think
actors,
if you're
right?
technical stuff, you'll have a resume that you're like, look at all this stuff.
Or they'll hire you as like a team, I would think. I don't imagine you go, right, okay, we need 6 animators. Let's shop around for like 6 different guys. I imagine you probably go, this team are good.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. Let me know, people. I don't know much about animation in the grand scheme of things. I enjoy it.
Look, I nosed it into a couple of people who were in the credits there as well. One thing I also did want to bring up as well, though, we do get, because Tia's still wailing in the background there. I did notice the line as a reference at the beginning of the episode there. She has the verse, I had to keep my feelings locked away. I couldn't whisper. No, I couldn't say. Now I know that this costs, my chances are lost. Like tears in the rain. Which, again, this really feels like whether someone was just watching Blade Runner the night before. It was just like, get it down. That was good. Because, of course, the famous Rutger Hauer, who, of course, is in Batman Begins. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. It's very famous. I found out like a while back. Apparently, that speech has its own Wikipedia entry.
Just for the speech?
Just for that speech. They call it, like, the Shoulder of Orion speech, or the Tears in the Rain speech or something. Like,
you know what? I've always loved that. But I never knew what a C-beam was, and I probably could just Google it, but I've never thought to Google it.
I think a lot of it's just like, I think that's kind of, it's like originally, and when A New Hope came out, when they would mention the Clone Wars, and you're like, oh, that sounds cool, don't know what that is.
I think that's the way I was kind of reading it. Yeah, it was like, C-beam, it's like a space thing.
Yeah, I think about like the Tannhauser gate and all that. And you're like, what the hell's a Tannhauser? It's like it's a thing that's in this universe. That's all you need to know.
Well, let's see. I'm going to look it up. Tannhauser gate.
But then I love that too, because the legend of that scene is that like Rutger Hauer. He did. I think it got exaggerated to the point of like, he went and wrote that entirely. Like originally he just died, and then Rutger Hauer was like, no, I'm going to do a thing, and then he came out with this beautiful soliloquy. But then I think what actually happened is like, no, they had a version of it written, and he was like, it's not doing it. So he went and wrote a couple of scenes, and then he like perfected it himself and came out as like, try this, everybody. And then there apparently people were so moved that they were crying on set and everything. And then everyone stood up and clapped. Everyone in the cafeteria or on the bus stood up and clapped.
It's always on the bus. Always on the bus.
Ridley Scott was sitting there and just started going. And then everyone else was there. And that guy who hated Rutger Hauer kind of looked a bit flummoxed, and then he started clapping too.
Turns into a big thing. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah. But no, you just the fact that it's in there. It's just like, oh, tears in the rain. It's like, it makes me think of a certain thing quite instantly.
Well, that always would for me. Always. And I did briefly there look up a C-beam, and it is made up for the movie as well. It's basically, it's a laser weapon.
Yeah.
So it's not, I thought it was going to be something cool and like, well, I suppose that's what it's meant to be about, isn't it? I was going to say, I suppose I want it to be something cool and natural, like in space. Oh, it's like a light thing. But I suppose the point of what he's saying is like he's contrasting beauty and destruction. Because he's talking about these, it looks beautiful, these lasers blasting through space, but it's actually like man being horrible as usual.
Yeah. We all know that a replicant wouldn't do anything horrible, of course. But,
to be fair to he does horrible things because he has to. Right? He's just trying to survive. He just wants more life.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think you needed to crush Joe Turkel's head, but
that's a bit extreme. It's a bit extreme. Like, I'm not saying his methods were right, but he's scared.
Yeah.
And that's why that ends really nice, because it's a big showdown. And yeah, he's strong, but it's not like a big action sequence, even though action's happening. You know what I mean? It's more, he's he's literally almost naked and afraid. But he's like, this is my last stand. Let's just go. Let's go.
Yeah. I was wondering now what, like, infamous grump Harrison Ford. Like, all this talk about, like, the day on set of Rutger Hauer going and having to write a new thing and all that. Like, was he just lying there in that puddle? Just like, it's in the scene, it's just bucket and rain. Harrison Ford just lying on the floor. Is he just like, oh, God damn it. It's like, do you remember the day that Rutger Hauer wrote this beautiful piece of poetry? Like, I don't care about that. I was just looking forward to lunch. God damn it. Like, the only person not clapping was Harrison Ford. He's like, you're ruining the take, damn it.
Oh my God. I think he would have just been grumpy no matter what, though.
Although, going through the credits, though, of course, we do see Synthesist. Hans Zimmer there. Like, he is officially credited. I didn't take any notes on him because we'll be getting the Hans Zimmer down the line.
All I'll say, though, I think, has had a big turnaround in public opinion. I remember not that long ago, people were like, oh, Hans Zimmer, he's just the ball guy.
Yeah.
And now people go see him in concert. He seems to be respected now. He seems to be loved.
I think it's because of the fact he probably is touring in concert that people are like, oh, no, it's like, yeah, if he wasn't out there doing stuff for people, everyone would be like, oh, yeah, whatever. But then if you can go see, like, the grandeur of the full orchestra piece, because I know he had, like, Johnny Marr playing guitar for him and stuff. It was like, it was big. I think my Uncle Martin went to see him.
Whoa.
He's like, yeah, he does a big show, And I guess if you just go see that, you'll be like, yeah, it was great. It's like, of course, yeah, I love Hans Zimmer now.
I've never hated him. I like the like, I have no problem with it. Plus, he did it first. People copy him. It's not his fault.
No, well,
You've got to have a gimmick. You have to have a thing, a sound, People might rightfully hate, Phil Spector, but he had a sound as a producer. When you heard a record, you were like, that's Spector.
It's the Spector spectacle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was watching that movie that they had a TV movie where, like, Al Pacino played Phil Spector, but he played Phil Spector as Al Pacino. So it was just Al Pacino in a Phil Spector wig going down. Whoa, just firing guns into the air.
I was going to say, from what I know about him, that's not bad casting. Like, he's got the crazy.
I think it was just like, again, it was like in, like, The Irishman when they're like, oh yeah, so Jimmy Hoffa. What was he like? Apparently, he was like exactly like Al Pacino. Oh, if you bought it, a Chuck brought it.
Yeah, I mean, that now it clouded my mind. That's how I imagine Hoffa. So he could have been nothing like that. I don't know anymore.
But I did see, like, the couple of names popped out to me, like, just for obvious reasons. Like, there's a part of the orchestration crew.
Yeah.
There's a lady called Lolita Ritmanis.
I wrote that down because I wasn't sure. Did we talk about her briefly with Alison Grimm? Or did she just go, that's funny?
Oh, it might have been that, yeah, because Lolita has popped up recently, so it might well have been in. Yeah, it might well have been in that last episode. Yeah. And yeah, the only person I took like proper notes on was this guy Tom E. Dahl, which is like an annoying name because it's like Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
you got Samuel L.
Samuel L. Kal-El.
So you want to say like Tom. He called himself Tommy E. Dahl. He's like, oh, for God's sake, man! But the fact is Tom E. Dahl, not Tommy Dahl. Tom E. Dahl. But now he's worked on a bunch of stuff. But then it got into some like I started going down some rabbit holes because like his big ones, of course, would be Witches of Eastwick, Demolition Man, some big classics and stuff. Then apparently he did a thing called The Cat That Looked at a King. Oh. Which is like, you make a movie about a cat that just looks at a king? Like, come on, what did he do to this king?
It's an art movie.
No, it's a little animated short. I was surprised, actually, because apparently it's Julie Andrews reprised Mary Poppins to do it.
What?
Like, and this was made in the early 2000s. Like, yeah, Julie Andrews came out of like, well, I don't think she's even retired now, but like, she just went like, that was a role. She's like one of her most famous roles. One of the two things she's known for doing.
Yeah.
And apparently I thought like, oh, that was all done and dusted back in the day. But no, she reprised Mary Poppins for this short. And she just plays Mary Poppins telling a story to a bunch of kids. But it also co-stars David Ogden Stiers, who will go on to replace Paul Williams in voicing the Penguin.
Oh, yeah.
In Mystery of the Batwoman. And it also stars Tracy Ullman as the titular cat. So, yeah.
Simpsons hater Tracy Ullman.
Yeah, and then later they trying to claim all credit for helping The Simpsons and stuff. But yeah, it also worked apparently on Drop Dead Gorgeous, which is just a phenomenal movie. It was one of those classic things of like a movie I saw a bunch of times when I was a teenager before I had access to the internet, and I was like, oh, everybody loves Drop Dead Gorgeous, right? Like the kind of Spinal Tap-esque beauty pageant thing with Kirsten Dunst and Kirstie Alley.
Yeah, I saw it when it was out. It's another one. I haven't seen it since.
It's got I've made no secret of my love of Brittany Murphy.
Oh, same, absolutely.
The primary reason I love Brittany Murphy is because of her role in Drop Dead Gorgeous. She's so good in that film. She's just such a if you just go to YouTube, I would encourage anyone to do it. Just go Brittany Murphy Drop Dead Gorgeous, and just to get like a little cut of all her scenes. And she's just like on fire in that film.
But now you keep saying Drop Dead Gorgeous. I'm just singing the Republica song.
I believe it features in the film. But yeah, then the other thing really that ended up going down a rabbit hole about was that apparently he worked on Mr. Wrong, which is a thing I just knew like, oh yeah, that was the weird Ellen DeGeneres domestic abuse rom-com.
Oh yeah.
Where like back in the 90s, Ellen DeGeneres made the whole plot. Like, I've seen snippets of it. I just know now of it by reputation. But like it's like, yeah, Ellen is like married. She meets Bill Pullman, and he's like this really charming guy, and everybody loves him. And then she ends up getting married to him, and it turns out no, he's got a split personality, and he's actually a horrific, abusive psycho.
Ew.
But this is all played for laughs.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah, she keeps going to her friends like, no, he's a nut job. He keeps like, threatening me and stuff. And then whenever people see him, he's still like really nice and friendly. So everyone thinks like, Ellen's crazy. He's like the most likable guy in the world. And it's just everything about it is like, these scenarios happen in real life. Like that's a thing that's going on in people's lives right now, where like people are suffering abuse and no one believes them because the guy just seems okay, and like not even regardless of gender, but that's just what being in an abusive relationship is like.
Yeah,
and this is all played for laughs as just like wacky, wackadoo. Oh, Ellen's married to Mr. Wrong. He's gonna kill her. But then, in going into it, I discovered that it was directed by Nick Castle.
That sounds familiar.
Nick Castle is the guy who played Michael Myers in Halloween. Like, the old friggin' the shape, the guy in the outfit. That's Nick Castle. He directed Mr. Wrong. Like, I was, what is going on here?
Okay, that's, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah. And then I finally discovered afterwards that apparently Ellen won a Razzie for her role in it as biggest acting stretch, brackets, playing a straight woman. Was the award, which was one of the few Razzie things that I actually laughed at when I saw that.
That's in good humor. You know, they're not being mean.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's got nothing to do with anything. This could be a bonus. I was watching a thing where Ric Flair was invited to a comedy thing, where he got to sit on a panel, you know, and people would come out and do their act for like a minute, and then they basically roast them.
Yeah.
And I don't think it got explained, like, it's a roasting kind of situation. Because he was just like, at one point he interrupts them and goes like, and he's a bit pissed as well. He's drunk. He's like, you know, if what does he say? I like to have fun. He's like, I don't make fun of anyone. And he starts getting dead serious, and he's like, if anybody says anything disrespectful to these good people, I'm going. and they just like have a laugh with it. It's like, okay, but then they make fun of the next guy who comes out, who's like, what was it he was doing? Oh, he like coaches kids sports, and Ric Flair's like, nope, this man is giving up his time to look after kids, and you're making fun of. He's like, I'm going, bye, and he like leaves. He takes his mic off and goes. It's like, holy crap. I mean, I'm on his side, because if nobody explained, like, that would be like, oh, I'm not here to be nasty.
Just like, it might just be like, oh, he's got a foolproof way of just getting out of having to go to anything. I was like, oh, it'd be great. It's like, oh, I don't want to have to go to this, but it's like kind of like an obligation. And like, oh, I'm so offended. See ya. He's back in the house in like 15 minutes. It's like on the sofa, like, that's me.
It could be. That would be genius if he did that. My highlight of it is where someone makes a joke about anal, and he goes, anal? Ugh. He's like disgusted by the concept. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, maybe doth protest too much, perhaps. But, yeah.
But where were we before that?
We're just making our way through the credits.
Yeah. So I did make one here about where's Lolita gone? I wrote Lolita down. Where's she gone? Lolita, where are you?
Let's try to work out whether I should do the James Mason impression or the Jeremy Irons impression for they're going, Lolita.
I did write
You know she got it all the time, too. You just know, wherever she went, people would have been like, someone eventually at a party would have been like, oh, Lolita.
Oh, 1,000%. I guarantee.
Who names a kid Lolita after that book came out? Like, what the hell are you
It's
thinking?
It's nuts. But you know what's not... Well, it is nuts in a way, but her body of work. It's nuts because it's so good, right? Because, of course, she worked on the animated series. Of course she did. She worked on Batman Beyond. But outside of DC, like she did also, Teen Titans, all this kind of thing. But outside of that, right, she's got over 100 films, miniseries, and TV programs under her belt. I've written down some here. Lethal Weapon 4.
Oh, that's...
Not the best one. Not the best one. But, you know, it's a big gig. It's a big gig.
You think you hear Lethal Weapon, you have the impulse to say, "Oh, nice," because I like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah,
Lethal Weapon 4, and then you're like, also like, "Is it okay?" It's got the Mel Gibson of it all, but yeah.
X-Files.
Yeah.
Jeepers Creepers 2.
Yeah.
Which I love, right? But there's always a certain something in the back of my mind.
Yeah, it's just, the whole series is just
it's tainted.
Yeah, people aren't aware that like the guy who makes all the Jeepers Creepers films, Victor Salva, is a convicted pedophile. Like
yes, like properly.
And he had already served time for it before he made Jeepers Creepers. So it's like, when he gets out, you're like, well, that's a film made by a pedophile. Like that's the problem. So.
I mean, as far as I can remember, there's no themes of that in it, but it's still in your mind. You're still going, hang on a minute, there were pedos doing that.
Yeah, some people might be like, served his time, didn't he? Like,
I mean, I do believe in like rehabilitation and stuff, but for that, I don't know. That might be stretching my goodwill a little bit.
I do remember enjoying Jeepers Creepers 2 back because that was the one where they just bump up Ray Wise into like, oh yeah, he's a guy just hunting the creepers.
He's amazing,
it's all about him. Yeah, it's just him swaggering around in a cowboy hat and like a bow and arrow. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'm here for this.
Well, speaking of bows and arrows, she also worked on Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Upcoming Movies by Minute project by previous guest Travis Bow.
Yeah.
Which is,
so why did I not think of that as a joke? Oh, for God's sake.
I'm sure he's probably heard it.
Yeah. And you may get to, as I alluded to there, hear a certain someone and a certain someone.
I've not recorded my episodes yet, but I'm holding out for Kevin Costner's ass. That was the scene I designated for myself.
All about that booty.
Whenever Costner's ass is out, I shall the ass signal shall shine in the air, and I'll come running.
And she's worked on a bunch of other things, but one in particular that I know we'll both enjoy: Demolition Man.
Oh, baby, yeah. Oh, so her and Tommy Doll work together again. Maybe, probably completely different departments. They probably never cross paths or anything.
Yeah, they probably aren't even aware that they're on the same movie, because a lot of these people will never meet each other at all.
Should we? I don't know, man. Because Demolition Man is there was so much talk of people doing a Demolition Man minute and then doing special episodes on it. I was just like, it's still just lying there. It's like, we should really be doing something with it because it's such a great film.
It is.
We should really be we should do like a commentary. Should we do like a random high? Should we do a mini series on it? Like, what do we do? Why is Demolition Man just sitting there and nobody's touching it? It's crazy.
Listeners, let us know. What out of them would you like? Would you like a one-off episode? Would you like a commentary track? Would you like a mini series? We're not doing minute by minute. Well, I say that now. We'll see. But that's not one that you can send in as an idea, okay?
Yeah. There was a thing that, like, Crystal Beth was attached to do a Demolition Man project. That's how long ago this was, like, because Crystal Beth is out of the Movies by Minutes community now. She's gone on to greener pastures.
Yeah, well, she's very busy, and it takes a lot of time.
It does, yeah.
So I get it. Sometimes you just got to bow out.
She's out there with a family and stuff. It's only losers like us who are stuck here doing this.
I've got my cat. She's next to me now. She's enjoying this. One other thing that she did that I liked, she composed and conducted the score for the Spider-Man 2 video game.
Oh,
which I thought was good because that was a very, very popular game.
I know. I remember. I do. Like, I never played it, but I remember my friend Anthony, who had access to it at the time, him raving about it constantly. He was really, really, really into that. So.
Yeah. And finally, she did all of the music for the. Not all. Sorry, she did some of the music for the closing ceremonies of the Olympic Games in Atlanta.
Oh.
So that's pretty impressive, isn't it, getting chosen for that? So I thought she was cool. Good old Lolita.
No, Lolita.
She's got over the weird, let's call it abuse, because it is abuse. She's a young kid.
Yeah.
I know they're framing it as like, he's being seduced by this young lady. No.
No, I think it's one of those things like Nabokov, as he was writing it, was trusting his audience to be intelligent enough.
Yeah.
To read, but so him, Humpert, saying in the text that, like, yes, I was victimized by this young girl and stuff. You're supposed to have the sense to know, like, well, he's lying.
Yeah.
And he's an idiot. And, like, he's, like, blatantly knows that he's guilty. And he's, it's asking for a level of sophistication in the audience that perhaps doesn't exist in modern day.
That's the problem. He didn't know how stupid people would become.
Yeah.
One other one that I've written down. I haven't got too many, really. But I've got Nicole Pulio.
Uh-huh.
I just like the name, right? Turned out, yeah, it's quite interesting because I just plucked it out of thin air. When I looked into her, there is an animated series episode, Batman, called Appointment Day in Crime Alley.
Oh, yes, I know.
You know it. Her name is immortalized in the episode because there's a scene showing mailboxes, and you get it's for Leslie Tompkins building.
Yes.
In the episode, and the residents are shown to be various people: Haven Alexander, Nicole Pulio, Bruce Timm, and Eric Radomski.
Hey,
she's in with people like Bruce Timm.
Yeah. Well, they all seem to be like they're all very buddy behind the scenes. The kind of vibe we got from talking to Dan the other week. Dan Reba. It was like, no, he seems like it didn't seem like there's any egos amongst people. Like, everyone was just into like, that was that bit of info, because obviously the episode's out now. It literally, as of recording, it just came out. But he sent us on, that caricature that Bruce Timm did of him for his birthday. And in it, he's like slapping his head.
Yeah.
And he told me when he sent that on, he's like, yeah, you'll notice actually the villain in the Grey Ghost episode, the villain who's voiced by Bruce Timm and is based on.
Does he slap his head?
He slaps his head and he makes a little noise, which is apparently is like, yeah, that's the thing I do. That Bruce was like insisting it had to be in the episode.
Amazing!
And stuff like that.
Is it just like what he does when he's sat there working and like, oh, God damn it.
There's like a little tick. Yeah, he's like a little thing that he does, and someone picked up, like Bruce Timm obviously picked up, and was like, oh, I'm putting that in the episode. So,
see, that's a nice way to roast someone. That's funny. It's not being mean. It's just like,
But no, John, I was watching the episode. I had to turn it off and walk away.
You walked out of the room.
Pulled my mic off. I was like, I'm out of here. No, see, I'm pretty much like the only other person I made notes on, and there weren't many to be made, was one of the additional voices for the guy we didn't touch upon, called Tom Pinto.
Okay.
No, not Tom Servo, but Tom. But he, I just wanted to bring him up specifically because I got excited briefly because it's like, oh, what's he known for? Doing Raphael in the Turtles. I was like, what? He was the original? It's like,
no, it's
he
going
was
to be
like
a different one, isn't it?
No, it's like, yeah, Rob Paulson's Raphael, but like later on when like the guys weren't available or they just were sick of being the Turtles, they got people to fill in. So he was one of the Raphaels apparently at some point.
I mean, that's still cool. That's more than I've done in my life.
Is that true? Well, I'm not. I said true there as if.
You idiots.
And I just wanted to bring him up specifically because he's in something we always mention in Batman, and I don't think we brought up at all this season. But apparently he was also in Hang Time.
Oh, yes.
Hang Time, hanging together.
Yeah, I was so obsessed with that show.
Yeah. It's because I was thinking, we were talking about our ties back to Jag. Although no ties to Jag in this episode, surprisingly enough. But
that's astonishing. Yeah, I didn't come across any. Oh.
Yeah, so, but no, the Hang Time's also the other unofficial tie-in show to Batman.
We're going to do a podcast on that as well. We're doing Jag. We're doing Hang Time. We're doing.
See, like how Jag I know went on for like 5 million years.
And we're doing every episode.
But Hang Time might be achievable. That might be like a 3-season wonder, maybe. How many episodes have we got of Hang Time?
I reckon it's maybe 4 or 5, because I watched it with the first coach, and then they changed it to another coach, didn't they?
No, they ran from 95 to 2000.
Oh, well, yes.
104 episodes. So.
There you go. That's going to be a good show. Good podcast, everybody.
Hang Time. There's 2 guys who know nothing about basketball. Talking about or American schooling systems.
Hey, I do. I know about American school.
Oh, actually, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Well, American school abroad, which brings its own unique flavor,
I just remember Hilary Tuck was in it. The adult, the Amy Zielinski from the TV's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. TV's Amy Zielinski.
I always think that name, though, sounds like Hilary Duff, but as a drag queen.
Hilary Tuck.
Hilary Tuck, yeah.
I think maybe people go like much like Crystal Beth, where like drag queens are constantly trying to go and get buy the website offer. Is Hilary Tuck having to fend off like a drag queen, going, "No, my name's not a joke, goddammit."
Oh, I feel bad now. But I mean, yeah, I've noted out.
Yep, I'm all ready to go.
Cool. We will head off then into the dark night. Just find us on all the social media.
The thing is, though, Hilary Swank has such an obvious drag name within her actual name as well.
Hillary's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's right there.
But yeah, find us on everything. We just put in the we're either Bat Minute or the Bat Minute. You can get us on all of those things. And we'll be back. We've got one more episode, people. We're seeing you out. We're going all the way with you. We're not cheating you. You're getting every goddamn minute of this thing. It's not even a full minute next time. Doesn't matter. You're getting it.
Was it like 30 seconds or something?
Yes. And you know what? You're going to get it. It's going to be a 30-second long episode. See you next time for a great 30 seconds, Batmates.
Next time. Farewell and adieu to you, fair shady lady. Farewell and adieu, you girlfriend of Bruce Wayne. For we've received orders to set sail for hiatus, and I've talked long enough about your legacy of pain. as we send Bruce's potentially paranormal paramour to the gulag and hang up our hatchet hands, the Bat Chat shifts to our future plans. What's next on the agenda for our ever-vigilant pod jockeys? The answer lies one episode beyond, Batmites. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Must top, stiff it, tabby,